um in this next video I'll be showing you how to use some of these icons here, okay, to work on your images. I told you when you want to work on your image, you have to click on this diagonal shape here, right? So now I'll be showing you how you can actually implement these icons here to work on your images, right? So of course, this is your reset. Okay, it's more like changing, maybe in the image you picked is not what you want to work with. You can click on reset to change the image. Okay, so that is the function of that one. Then of course your delete icon. All right, then to crop, if you want to crop this image now, so you click on your crop, it will bring you to this environment. So you do your cropping. Once you are done, you can flip it. All right, you can flip it anyhow you want. Okay, so once you are done with your cropping, you click on this tick sign here. All right, then this one is to copy. Okay, it's more like duplicating that image. That is the function of it. Okay, then this one is to bring in front of an object. Okay, so let's say I have let's say I draw something, and I want to bring this image in front of this shape here. So I'll just click on the image and click to in front. You see, so it's now in front of that shape, the square shape, right? So if I want to take it back, I'll click on to back. All right, so that is the function of these ones. Then to position, that means instead of you using your hand to drag so that you get the perfect placement of your image, you want to position it in a way that it will look good. You can just be using your position icon here to click your left or your right, your up or your down arrow. Okay, so that is the function of it. Then once you are done, you click on your tick icon there. Then this relative position here means is still the same function of positioning your image, but this one is in a faster mode. Okay, see, so it's more like it's not shifting bit by bit, it shifts with a speed. Okay, so up and down, left, right. Okay, so that's the function of this one. Then you come to your relative size. You want to increase the size of your image. Okay, so you want to increase the size of your image. So instead of using dragging from the tip of this image, you can actually come here and do that by clicking on your relative size. So you increase, you reduce. All right, so you increase it, so both work together. As you are reducing the width, the height is also reduced. As you are increasing the width, the height is also increasing. All right, so that you have a perfect size of that image. So once you are done, you click on your OK icon. Then you have your color. All right, have your color. Of course, if you do that, that means you want to change the entire thing to color, but that is not our purpose, right? So you click cancel. Then if you also want to change this, maybe you wanted to work on something and you said that I don't want to use image again, let me use texture instead. You can do that by clicking on your texture. Click the texture you want to use. All right, you take it to your folder where you've saved your texture images. So this is the text I have here. So you click on it and click OK. So that image automatically has been changed to texture format. It's no more an image, as you can see. All right, so let's go back to the way it was before by clicking on do. So that is that for that. Then you have your opacity. So opacity is more like reducing the effect, the sharpness, the brightness of that image, or increasing it. All right, so if you check now, the opacity is in 100%, and that's why you can actually view the image very well. So if you want to reduce the sharpness, the brightness of that image, you can do that by dragging this to your left. You see, it's changing. The brightness is no more obvious. All right, you see, it has disappeared entirely. Okay, that's how you use this opacity. Okay, so then you have your color filter. All right, so color filter here, you can actually increase the brightness of it. All right, you change the color. You see the color is changing. The color is changing. See, so you can also increase the saturation. All right, you can also increase the brightness or reduce it. Right, then you can also increase the contrast. All right, so this is basically some of the things we use on our phones, right, to format our images, to make it sharp and good, right? So this is how this one works. Then you have your stroke. So it's more like cropping your image. Okay, so it's more like adding size of your outlines, the outlines of that image. Okay, so why this thing is increasing is because there's still a background here. So the outline of the background is increasing because I'm increasing it in width, you see. So that is stroke for you. All right, then you have your eraser. Maybe you have something that you need to erase here, but there's nothing to erase here, right? So you can use your eraser to crop out this background, the pixels. This is called pixels. Okay, so you can do that with your eraser to crop out the backgrounds that is attached on your image. So once you are done, you click on, you see, so you've erased some part of these backgrounds. So that's the work of this eraser. Then we have your mask. So it's more like cropping too. All right, see, it has cropped out this place. So if you want to use it, then have to do in such a way that it's not affecting your image. All right, so if you want to use it, let's try it. So you bring it down. You want to crop out this place, right? So you bring it, you use all these handles here to move it. Okay, so if you want to make this handle to come out, you click on each of these white dots around the lines. So this handle will come out so that it will enable you to drag, okay, to reduce and stuff like that. So you want to crop out this place. So let's say okay, you see. So if you enable it, you can actually see the preview of what you've cropped. So you just say okay. All right, so you can use you can use all these places. Maybe if you want to do another cropping. All right, so that's how to use this. So once you are done, but basically I don't use this to crop my my images. It wastes a lot of time. Okay, then I most of the time use erase color. So if you will see what will happen here. So we want to remove this background entirely, right? So you click on your erase color, enable it, you see. So the only thing you have to do here is to increase the tolerance. You see, the background has totally disappeared. So this one is actually the one I use often if I want to remove my background, the background attached on my images. Okay, so you use this, but make sure that the image doesn't disappear entirely, and make sure that the image is still okay. All right, just ensure that the outlines are not showing, the outlines on the image, the outlines or the background of the image is not showing. Then you can also reduce the edges, make it smooth. You see, we've removed the background without stress. So this works magic on your image, but um images. Okay, so that is that for erase colors. Then of course we know our rotate. Okay, you rotate your image. All right, then we have another form of rotating. So this one is basically for 3D. If you want to rotate this image in a 3D format, all right, you click on this, you see. So this is in a 3D rotation, all right. So you see, so that is 3D for you, 3D rotation. Then if you now want to convert this image to a 3D shape, you enable it. So you see, so you increase the depth, you see it has turned to 3D. All right, that is 3D for you. Okay, this is 3D for you, right? So you can also increase the work with the color, okay, to darken it. You see our image is becoming more beautiful, right? So you can darken it to make it um look more 3D. So you can also rotate it. Okay, you can also rotate it. You can also rotate it upwards or downwards, and you can also rotate sideways. All right, so that is how this one works. Then you can also rotate around, right? And you can also make it look more 3D. Like when someone sees your image, they will know that this is a 3D design. All right, but this will be more obvious if you are working on a test. That's when this one will be more obvious. But if you notice, you see, are you seeing the changes? So that is it. Is making it to be more molded in form. All right, so that is it. Then you can also add shadow, so you will see some of these effects very well when you are working on text. Okay, it's because this is an image. All right, so what this one is showing, okay, you can see now it has reduced the darkness of the image. So that's how this one works. All right, then you have your perspective. Okay, so perspective allows you to drag your image in some certain positions. So let's enable it. So you see, if you want your image to be facing upwards, you can actually do that, right? You can actually do that, you see. So you can actually do that, you see. So is now facing upwards. That is the work of perspective. If you want to mirror something from upwards, like placing something on the air or something, you can achieve that using perspective. All right, so that's the work of this one. So you can change the position of that image. All right, okay. Then you have your shadow. If you want to add shadow to this image here, you enable, you see. You can also change the color of the shadow. All right, you can change the color, right? You can change the color. You can use black and then make it obvious or reduce it if you don't want the shadow to be too obvious. See, you can actually do something like this. All right, so that for this. So then you can also add your inner shadow. All right, so your inner shadow is more like it's so attached to the image. So let's see. So you see, it's so attached to the image. It's attached to the image. That is the inner shadow. You can't separate it out from the image. unlike the first shadow that is the shadow is on its own, whereas the image is on its own. But in this one is merged with the image. That's the inner shadow. So if you want to have an inner shadow on your image, then you click on the icon and increase the effect or reduce it. All right, so you see, so that is the work of your inner shadow. Then you have your emboss. So your emboss here is actually making your, if you don't want to use 3D, you can use emboss. So emboss is more like a molded um outlook. It gives you this molded outlook of your image. All right, see, have you seen how it is now? So that's why when you see logos or mockups or signages, you will see them just as it is already imprinted on the wall. So that is the work of emboss. When you want to make it look that way, when people are viewing it from online, a soft copy of an image, you can actually achieve that by using emboss. That when they are looking at it, the soft copy of that image, it will still be in a molded form, instead of you printing it out first before they will know that it's in a molded form. No, you can actually achieve it by clicking on emboss. All right, so it will be in a molded form. So you can increase it. You see it's changing. So to your taste, you can increase it to your taste. All right, once you are satisfied, you click OK. All right, so that's that for shapes. All right, then when you come to this diagonal, to this square, two squared icon here, so you can actually work with your color. All right, that is for your background. All right, that is for your background. Then transparent, if you want your background to be in a